The King and the Slave. Long ago, in a vast and golden kingdom, there lived a mighty king named Zafir. He ruled over millions, wore jewels brighter than the sun, and had palaces made of marble and silk. But King Zafir, despite his power, was a proud and arrogant man, believing he was above everyone and everything. One scorching summer, a rare drought struck the land. Rivers dried, crops failed, and the people grew weak with thirst and hunger. But the king's palace still overflowed with food and wine. He cared little for the cries outside his palace gates. One morning, while riding through the market disguised as a common man, King Zafir heard a voice, gentle, calm, and deep with wisdom. It came from a slave who was quietly teaching a group of children under the shade of a dying tree. The slave's name was Malik. Curious, the king stopped and listened. Malik was telling the children, "A man is not great by the crown on his head, but by the kindness in his heart. A king who forgets his people is poorer than a beggar with no shoes." The king's heart burned with anger. How dare this slave speak like that, he thought. The next day, Malik was brought before the king in chains. "Do you not know who I am?" King Zafir thundered. "I know," Malik replied calmly. "You are a man who has forgotten what it means to be human." The court gasped. Zafir, red with fury, was ready to order Malik's execution. But something inside him, something long buried, stopped him. A strange curiosity pulled at his soul. He ordered Malik to be thrown in the palace dungeon instead of being killed. Days passed, and Zafir found himself haunted by Malik's words. He began visiting the dungeon in secret, questioning Malik about life, faith, and justice. Each time the slave spoke not with hate, but with truth and compassion. One day the king asked, "Why do you speak kindly to me, even though I have wronged you?" Malik replied, "Because power is temporary, but character lasts beyond death. I forgive you not because you are king, but because I am free in my soul, even in chains." Those words struck deep. The king, for the first time in his life, wept. He freed Malik the next morning, not just from the dungeon, but from slavery itself. Not only that, he appointed Malik as his advisor. The kingdom was shocked. "A slave? An advisor to the king?" they whispered. But under Malik's guidance, King Zafir changed. He opened the palace gates and gave water to the thirsty. He sat with the poor, listened to their stories, and forgave many unjust debts. Over the next year, the kingdom transformed. Where once there was arrogance, now there was justice. Where once there was greed, now there was mercy. One night, many years later, the old king sat with his friend Malik in the palace garden. The stars were bright, the land was at peace. Zafir said, "You were a slave, but you freed me from the prison of my pride." "Tell me, Malik, what made you so wise?" Malik smiled and replied, "Because I was born a slave to men, but I chose to serve truth. And truth, your majesty, sets all of us free.